thank you all for coming. This is a very wonderful community moment at CEU, and I cannot think of a more exciting moment than to introduce my dear friend and artist of this gorgeous quilt, which you'll hear much more about in a minute, Clara Wainwright. So let me just start by asking all of you to join me in thanking Clara.
This is a great moment, and I wanted to just ask a series of questions, and Clara, of course, will say anything that comes to mind. But my first question, Clara, is what were you thinking when you made this quilt? What was on your mind? What were you trying to convey?
Well, I made this quilt, I think it was 2007, and it had just been a terrible, terrible week because a madman at Virginia Tech University had shot 30 students and professors. And then the very next day, many, many people were killed in Iraq. And I just had this feeling of despair that the world was out of control. And you just didn't, it was like it was downhill. And I'm a very optimistic person. It's very hard for me to make something that's ugly. And I felt like there was some ugliness that I needed to expel. And I have an Egyptian Book of the Dead that I'm very fond of, and I thought about the way Egyptians spoke about life and death in their tombs. And so I used these hieroglyphics to talk about the number of people killed. And up at the top, in the center, do you all know that American nursery rhyme about Humpty Dumpty? And see, there are many eggs falling, and the king's horsemen are just kind of letting it happen. My notion was to make a quilt that was really, you know, like a page from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and then frame it, contain it with the most beautiful fabrics I had. And so therefore it would be sealed in. So when I got down to this central panel, I was walking, I have a beautiful dog called a whippet, which for those of you who don't know what whippets are, they look like smaller greyhounds. And we were walking in a big park, and it was just the most beautiful day, and there were just flowers everywhere, and people out enjoying nature, and there was nothing that reminded you of death and war. And I realized that nature would still put out spring every year, and then fall would come and things would die, but you knew that they would come back, and it was just something that happened. Down at the bottom, this central, the roller coaster, which looks like it's not going to stand much longer, that week, Bush and Cheney, who had before, up until this point, had just had one triumph after another. I can't remember exactly what happened, but they made some bad mistakes. And so they are riding on that helicopter, on that roller coaster and plunging into the water. And my alter ego is up in the right-hand corner there of the inflated horse. See him? Right here. And she's just sailing off and leaving it all behind. And so that's the story of that quilt.
Thank you, Clara. And what made you decide to bring it to CEU?
So this quilt has been hanging on my wall, and it's been in another big exhibition. And I was looking at it one day and said to myself, there's only a matter of time, because I'm a workaholic, I produce a lot of work, that it will eventually get folded up. And I just don't want to have that happen to this quilt. Then I thought, aha. I've heard all these wonderful things about CEU, and I love Ellen Hume and John Shattuck. And it was going to be Christmas pretty soon, and they would be coming over to Boston for a visit. And so I emailed Ellen and I said, I want to make a date with you at Christmas time because I have a present for you. that's how it came here.
So we can learn many lessons from this, and I think one of them is that you build community by inviting people to bring their creativity and their positive ideas together and listen to each other and not have it be about one celebrity. I love that message. Thank you so much, Clara Wainwright.